What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I want to talk about if the spot price of silver were to hypothetically skyrocket in price. I'm talking rapidly go up in value in a short window of time. I'm talking 10x in a small window of time. What would likely be the best, or at least one of the best types of silver to have in your possession? That's what I want to talk about in today's video. So the spot price of silver, as I'm recording the video, is about $38.50, right around in that range. So just for the sake of simple math, we're just going to call it $40 because you got to factor in a premium anyway, which, to be honest, should actually make us round up to closer to $44, but let's just keep it $40 just for the sake of the conversation. So the spot price of silver, $38.50, we're calling it about $40 per troy ounce if the spot price were to skyrocket in value. Now, what does that mean? What does it mean to skyrocket? It's a little bit vague, but my definition, I guess, would be to, let's just say, hypothetically 10x in value over the next 12 to 18 months, the next year and a half, sometime in 2026. If the spot price of silver were to go to just a hair under $40 an ounce to, I don't know, about $400 per troy ounce, what would be the best type of silver, or what would be the best kind of silver coins, rounds, or bars to have in your possession at that point? That's what I want to talk about today. So for the sake of convenience, if the spot price were to go absolutely bonkers like that, it would probably be a good idea to have small denominations of silver. And the reason I say that is very similar to the reasons I would say it's good to have small denomination dollar bills as well. I'm talking about like your fives, your singles, and stuff like that, as opposed to nothing but hundreds and fifties, just because you're going to want to be able to break a larger bill without having to, I don't know, spend money to do it. So when I say small denominations of silver, of course, yeah, I'm talking about 1 troy ounce, but in a hypothetical world where the spot price of silver is $400 per troy ounce, that troy ounce might become out of reach for a lot of people. I mean, how many of you have $400 just to get 1 troy ounce of silver, if that were the spot price? How many people do you know have an extra $400 just sitting around waiting to be converted into a silver buffalo? I don't know. So you're going to want to have small denominations as well. I'm talking about that 90% silver. I'm talking about that 90% junk constitutional silver, because this right here is fractional silver. Now, unfortunately, it's not simple fractional silver. It's not 10th ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce. These are 1/3 of a troy ounce, 1/6 of a troy ounce, and 1/14 of a troy ounce. And I know that might be a little bit complicated, but bear with me. Let me explain something really quick. This right here is about 1/3 of a troy ounce of silver. You would need 3 90% silver half dollars to equate to just about a troy ounce of silver. You would need about 6 90% silver quarters. I don't care if they're Washington quarters. I don't care if they're Standing Liberty quarters. You would need 6 of them to equate to about a troy ounce of silver. And then as for 90% silver dimes, whether they be Roosevelt dimes, whether they be Mercury dimes, you're going to need 14 to equate to about a troy ounce of silver. Again, doesn't matter if it's a Mercury dime, a Roosevelt dime. I don't care. Does not matter. Each of these, 1/14 of a troy ounce of silver, 1/14 of a troy ounce of silver, putting together 2/14, or 1/7 of a troy ounce of silver. Being that that's the case, on a fractional level, let's talk about the dollar amount. With the current spot price of silver being about $38 to $40, and this right here being 1/3 of a troy ounce of silver, due to the amount of silver in this silver coin, this right here is worth about $13.30, give or take. About $13 and change is what this is worth right here. It's a 50-cent piece, but it's worth over 13 bucks because of the spot price of silver. We're not going by face value here. We're going by actual value. We're going by silver value. We're going by intrinsic value, monetary value, industrial metal value, precious metal value, because silver is both industrial and a precious metal. This right here is worth about $13 and change. How crazy is that? Washington quarter. Due to the spot price, and that this is 1/6 of a troy ounce of silver, this right here, it's not worth 25 cents. It's actually worth about $6.60 currently, as I'm recording this video. How crazy is that? If you pull a quarter out of your pocket right now, odds are it's a more recently minted quarter, post 65, or post 64 really, but 65 and later, 73, 89, 94, 2006, 2011, 2022, whatever. That's just a junk quarter. An actual junk quarter made out of miscellaneous nonsense metal. This right here, pre-65, it's 90% silver. And because of the fact that this is about 1/6 of a troy ounce of silver, this is worth about $6.60. Crazy to think about. I mean, for you listening right now and me speaking right now, this is common knowledge to us. But when you hear that for the first time, or you see the numbers for the first time, and you think about it for the first time, or even if you take a step back, even if you know all this and you take a step back and really think about it, currency versus money, it is still mind-blowing to me, and I've known this for 7 going on 8 years now. So away from the quarter. Silver dimes. Current spot price. Times 1/14 of a troy ounce of silver. This right here is worth about $2.85 for a little 10-cent piece, for something that is supposedly worth 10% of a dollar. 10 pennies. It's actually worth about 285 pennies. $2.85. But coming around full circle here, if the spot price of silver were to skyrocket, and in this hypothetical exercise we're doing here, let's call it 10xing. When all of a sudden, it doesn't take a couple of these to get an ounce of silver. Now, all of a sudden, it takes a couple of these to get an ounce of silver. Spot price in this hypothetical world is now about $400 per troy ounce. Which means, if you have a handful of 1/3 of a troy ounce silver coins, like the 90% silver half dollar, this right here would be, hypothetically, in this situation, $133 for this little 1/3 of a troy ounce silver coin. Are you starting to understand the importance of having fractional silver instead of nothing but, let's just say, 10-ounce silver bars? Because in this hypothetical scenario, each of those 10-ounce silver bars would be worth $4,000. It might be hard to break. It might be hard to make change for a larger denomination. It's great to have larger denominations, but I'm putting a little bit of an emphasis on fractional silver in this video because you want to be diversified. You want to have the 1 ounces. You want to have the fractional. You want to have the large denominations too. You want to have the 10-ounce silver bars, the 5-ounce silver bars. You might even want to have some kilo bars, 20-ounce bars, 50-ounce bars to break down the premiums and get more bang for your buck. But you don't want to be all in on that. You want to be able to break large denominations as well. You want to be able to make change for large denominations as well. So if the spot price of silver were to go to somehow figure out a way to go to $400, this right here would be $133. And how much would the silver quarter be worth in dollar bills, being that it's 1/6 of a troy ounce? This right here would be worth about $66 for a quarter. How crazy is that to think about? 66 bucks for a 24-cent piece. A supposedly 24-cent piece. But being that it's made out of silver, different story. A silver dime, 1/14 of a troy ounce of silver. If the spot price were to go to 400 bucks, this right here would be worth $28.50. How crazy is that? It wasn't all that long ago that an ounce of silver was $28.50. I remember when the spot price was $28.50. That's recent history, by the way. The spot price of silver was just $28.50. As I'm recording the video, spot price is about $38.50. But again, not all that long ago was the spot price 28, 29, 30 bucks. And if the spot price were to go to $400, this right here would be worth about $28.50. How crazy is that? So coming around full circle here, the purpose of fractional silver is to be able to break a larger denomination of silver. If you were to make a transaction in silver, one of you is going to have to be able to make change. Similar to going to the corner store for a sandwich, go to a little deli or something like that. How much is a sandwich going to cost you? Probably about $5. Well, all you have is 100. They have the 95. Well, the same thing goes. What if you pay with, or you charge somebody, a troy ounce of silver for a product or a service or something? And that product or that service really only costs about, I don't know, 2/3 of a troy ounce of silver. You're going to want to be able to make change. If a troy ounce of silver is how somebody is paying for a service that only costs 2/3 of a troy ounce of silver, 1/3 of an ounce of silver will be the change. So you want to be able to mix and match it up. If you're saving cash, like physical cash at home, I'm not talking about a savings account. If you have cash, physical cash in your possession, you're going to want to have a variety of denominations. Yeah, you want the 50s and the 100s to save space. You're going to want to have the 10s and the 20s for everyday purchases, but you're going to want some 5s and singles. Ignore that $2 bill. You probably don't need a whole lot of $2 bills, but you're going to want to have the 5s and the singles to make change. That's what we're talking about here. So I want to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If the spot price of silver were to hypothetically skyrocket 10x in value, go from the high 30s to close to $400. That's just the number I came up with just for the sake of the video. But if it were to go to 100, 200, 500, whatever, what do you think would be some smart types of silver to have in your possession? What coins, rounds, or bars, or the denomination would you think would be the most convenient? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to both of my YouTube channels. Follow me on social media at Mykie DYDSS across all platforms. That's X, Instagram, and the TikTok. Give your boy a follow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.